Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. It is Friday. My microphone is too far away from my face. There we go. All right, we are getting the pet camera set up here. 1 second. Oh, my keyboard is dying. Hopefully it'll last for the rest of the stream. We'll find out. Okay, 1 second here, getting the puppy cam turned on because she has just returned to her usual lounging location. Oh, I'm gonna have to like reset this, aren't I? There we go, we did it. Woo! Going around. Let's look at my dog. Look at her little face. Look at that face. Oh my goodness. Well, you can't really because it's very bright outside right now. But that is that on that. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Friday live stream. I hope you all are doing well. What has been going on? I don't know what that is a reference to. I don't know. Here, I'm going to just move this over here. And yeah, we have the bandit camera on. It has been quite the week. I was not expecting the response that I got to the video that I made about trad wives. Like, in every conceivable sense of the term, like, it definitely left containment of, like, my usual audience, and then it really left the containment field of my usual audience. I don't know what it is. Whenever I've talked about manosphere stuff, or, like, the red pill, or anything like that... Oh, why did that beep at me? Hopefully that's not a bad thing. Well, I'll have to find out later. I don't know what that was. Like, I get just instantly, either they have just like keyword searches turned on, or like it's literally just bot accounts that look for any new video published that even like references something in a transcript. I have no idea. But whenever I talk about manosphere, red pill, trad wives, anything, even a little bit, my especially early comments are flooded with people like... I don't know if people realize when they do this, if this is how this works, but when you make a YouTube video and you have comments, YouTube will put comments that it thinks are problematic in a quarantine zone for content creators to manually sort through. And I usually never check it, but my morbid curiosity got the better of me. And like within the first 2 hours that I had the video posted, I had numerous people that had like time-stamped my entire video, like 20, 30 timestamps being like 2018 dot, you know, like dash whatever, like why do you hate the white race? Just, oh my god, just, this is why you can't, like, if you talk about politics online, you have an iron will. I could not... Just, even if I know that they're wrong and it's annoying, even just seeing that a little bit is like, oh, I would hate making content if this is what I had to look at every day. I would just hate it. Oh, thank you, Sean. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. I really appreciate it. Yeah, are we talking about bot comments? Well, this is the thing, though, is I don't know if they're bot comments. I mean, I haven't been on YouTube for a long time, so there's definitely, like, one way that bot comments used to exist, which was, like, fake profile picture, probably something vaguely pornographic, and then somebody spamming something, honestly, most of the time, usually like a foreign language, like Thai or Filipino or something, and then just trying to copy and paste that on as many videos as possible. And maybe now is just really sophisticated. I mean, some of them I assume are like just troll accounts. Like if you have an account where your name is Trump MAGA 420, I'm gonna assume that like that's probably a troll account. If it's like just a bunch of letters and numbers all jumbled together and not even like a single word in the name, I'm gonna assume that's just like straight up a bot. But other ones I assume are trolls, and so it's like I don't know how much of it is intentional or not, but boy howdy does it just draw out like the worst the world has to offer. But then it is kind of funny because then that proves my point about how, like, you know, trad wifery and the far right and white supremacy are interconnected, because if they weren't, then why would they be defending trad wives by saying that, like, we must defend the beautiful white Aryan woman? You know, like, if they're not related, why are they going to bat for each other? I feel deceived. Streams stream title says stream starting soon, but it's already started. Oh, does it say that? Oh, it's because like my thumbnail, the title doesn't say that, but the thumbnail shows like stream starting soon. Yeah, it does say that. You're right. I don't have like a good easy way to like change it once it does start to like a different thumbnail that says like currently streaming or like a live preview or something. That would be a good feature though. All right, I am posting on Twitter that we're live. Boop, there we go. All right. Up. And I thought maybe it was a good opportunity to have like a broader conversation about collars. By the way, because trolls are annoying, the word collar is like censored on my channel. So if you want to talk about collars, you have to just say the word choker. So just if you have a question about collars, replace the word collar with choker or necklace or something like that, or jewelry. I don't care. I'll understand what you mean by context clues, just so you know, because like Pepperidge Farm remembers, for some reason, there's people out there that love asking me about my collar and what happened to it and where did it go. And like, it's like they don't care about me at all as a person. Like they only ever comment just to be like, what happened to the thing around your neck? It was the only thing that made you worth watching. Like, is that a thing? I guess there's so many free pictures on the internet of women wearing collars. You really don't have to look at me. So there's so many other options. Bandit is a Pomeranian. She is a full Pomeranian, and she has a purple tail. That's not genetic. That's hair dye. Fur dye, I guess, technically. Few things make me happier than dropping the banhammer. Well, I am glad that I've given you that power. Choke her? Instructions unclear. Getting yelled at now. Yeah, no, choker, not choke her. Yeah, gotta make sure you get the H in there. Don't want to skip that one. All right, so before I ramble about my experience making this video, I will now return to the chat and we will get into the usual spiel. So, if you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Evie Lupine. Every Friday here on this channel, we do a live stream where I answer y'all's questions. This is an 18 plus only live stream, so if you are not at least 18, please do not be here. That is for your safety, my safety, everyone's safety, because we just have to make sure that we are not mixing adults and minors and kink education and sex education all in the same space, because I'm not a professional, I'm not your doctor, I'm not a pediatrician. It is not my purview to give advice to minors about relationships and such like, so please just respect that. Be nice and polite in general in chat. Always do that. Listen to me and the mods and you'll have a good time. I go through these live streams by answering questions in order. So if you want to make sure that I answer your question, I recommend asking it early because YouTube does not always retain the whole chat. And so when I'm scrolling back, especially when we get to the later half of the live stream, because we stream for 2 hours, I will likely miss questions and end up kind of towards the middle. So early or right before the end is like normally the best time to ask if you want to make sure I'm going to get you. Other than that, you can use a super chat to make sure I get to your question. You can do that either directly through here on YouTube or you can go to Streamlabs, which is linked down below. It'll highlight your question on screen. And then sometimes it'll also read it out loud, which is really fun and exciting. If you would like to have a little robot read out your question, that is a thing that you could do. Also, in general, some questions I don't generally answer would be about like medical and mental health stuff. Those are the big ones. So if you're like, I did a flogging scene and for the last 3 days, my shoulder has been really sore. Should I see a doctor? I'm going to be like, yeah, probably. And then that's going to be all I can tell you. So just make sure you're not using me as WebMD, or I guess people probably aren't even using WebMD anymore, are they? They're probably just going to Grok and asking Grok, here are my medical symptoms. Do I have cancer? Oh, this is going to be, we're in such a terrible age for people with health anxiety. I tell you what, it's not a good situation. So those are more or less the rules. Please be respectful. Enjoy the bandit camera. She's adorable. She may wander about, and I will try to locate her, and that is really all you need to know. And if you you can like the live stream. I don't know if it does anything, but it is a nice thing to do if you just want to, do that for me. If you just are feeling oh so generous and you have a free like to spare on YouTube. All right, so I love hearing updates from people. I always love mentioning this every once in a while. So if I've ever given you advice or answered a question, or you have a situation where you're like, I'm planning to talk to this guy, I'm going on a date, I want to do a scene like this. I love hearing updates from people. If you have experiences or I helped you with something, we love a good follow-up story. So don't feel afraid to share those, because I would love to further discuss things. How's the weather at your place? It's actually really nice right now. It like really got hot in like the middle of the week this week. Like it was like almost 100 degrees, and I was like taken aback by that. But now it's like, I would say like very high 70s, low 80s. It's like really, really nice weather. Last week it was a little, like on the weekend, it was a little dreary, but like honestly, if it's the middle of the summer, it's good to have a couple days where you got some overcast and some rain, because I think that makes a difference for just things staying nice and pretty and fire free for the rest of the season. So I think it's been nice. Yeah, the weather's been good. Yeah, it was like perfectly blue skies yesterday. It was great. So, you know, we'll see what the weekend holds. But hard to complain. This is like why people move to the Pacific Northwest, is the weather here in the summer is very hard to beat. Now it gets hotter than it used to, but you know, 20 years ago, it like never got in the hundreds. That like very rarely happened. We have a little update here from Psycho Salad. If you want news to cheer you up, my dom is hosting a semi-private play party in mid-August. Hopefully there's enough demand for a face to sit on. Well, I hope for your sake that you get to have that experience. That sounds very fun. I think a semi-private play party is a really good kind of in-between thing between a traditional, like, you know, people say like public BDSM play party, but obviously public doesn't mean like it's happening out in the street. It means like, you know, it's not walled off from anybody. There's not like a vetting period you have to go through. You show up, maybe you do an orientation, you pay for a ticket or a membership or whatever, and then you get to go. So a semi-private play party, like that's a good one. I think that's a good place to be in, because if you get into like the private play parties, like, I don't know, I feel like some of the people that have like the underground like private play parties are sometimes the people that are like very one true way, like, you know, I have one exact methodology for doing kink, and if you are a woman, you are a submissive, and if you show up to my play party, you have to be naked the entire time. And it's like, are we just here to live out your personal fantasy? I don't know. Sometimes it feels like it. Also the super chat thing is like a little dog who's talking. YouTube knows me so well. Oh, thank you. Okay, I love the update. Thank you, Psycho Salad. That sounds like a fun time. With that live stream, Evie has to do 6 full live streams. Then she has the live stream 3 times the 3. I still can't. That sounds like a math problem, and my brain just like shut down. I have no idea. Yes, our dear fluff ball has returned to us. Why do you hate the white race is a hell of a thing today to say. Oh, like you'd think. And then I'm like, oh, honestly, the timing of it, I think actually, I don't know if maybe the Jubilee video that came out recently might be affecting things a little bit. Because if y'all are, honestly, if you just consume YouTube content, even if you're like fairly mainstream with it, I guess maybe unless you're the kind of person who just watches like ASMR content and like tool restoration, maybe you haven't seen this. But there's this big video that came out from Jubilee that is one person who's progressive debating 20 presumably like MAGA people, but they're really, really far right and are much more far right than typically is featured in YouTube content. Like somebody very early on said that they're a fan of Franco as a dictator, that they are a fascist. Multiple people like kind of not less directly say that they are a fan of the Nazis, or they think that Trump has never done anything wrong in his entire life, and just like some really concerning things that's like, oh, we're like, the quiet part is no longer quiet. So I do wonder if there's a little bit of like people who normally would not say the phrase, why do you hate the white race? Like maybe they feel a little bit emboldened because this YouTube video that has millions of views and has gone viral on like every social media platform through clips is just out there. And, you know, I think the majority of people are probably horrified at somebody who says that they're a fan of the dictator Franco, you know, from Spain. That Franco. I don't know if there's another Franco who's also famous, like James Franco. Not that. He's not a fan of James Franco. The Spanish dictators who we're talking about. So that's concerning. So I think there might be a little bit of boldness on there, because that is the kind of thing where you think YouTube would flag it and be like, that's not allowable. But then, like, most of them weren't. Like, most of the flags, like the flagged comments that I get, are not necessarily because of the language in it. It's because they do stuff that, like, spammers will do. Like, they'll respond to my video, and then there's, like, no evidence that trad wifery is, like, connected to racism. You know, somebody made an argument that, like, well, Planned Parenthood used to be connected to racism, so, like, I hope that you don't like Planned Parenthood. And I'm like, there is no comparison whatsoever between, like, the historical lineage of the creation of Planned Parenthood and a current pipeline into separationist, militia-based, white supremacist ideology. And the fact you think they're comparable is concerning. Oh no, are we having... stream not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Okay, I don't see any bitrate issues on my end. I'll keep an eye on it. If the audio gets choppy or the video gets choppy, please let me know, and I will, like, see if there's anything I can do to change it. The beautiful puppy. Did everyone see the stretch? That was, wow, perfect form. 10 out of 10. That deserves an Olympic gold medal. That was, that is the quintessential Bendieta stretch right there. Jubilee is owned by a right-winger, so they have an agenda, but there is value in showing normies where the right really is. Oh, I didn't hear about the owner, but I have heard, the person who has, like, the... like, side shave, man bun, mohawk situation going on. That was a sneeze and a stretch. So precious, so beautiful. Everything that is perfect about life is contained just in this image. And Baggy Paws. Oh, we're just getting the full. She's just showing off now. But he has, like, the guy has, like, the mohawk man bun thing, and then wears, like, the silk shirts. I guess he's one of the casting people. And so the reason why he ends up in all the videos where, like, they're talking about the far right, like, it's because he casts himself in the fucking videos because he works for Jubilee. Which I think, actually, if they are explained by a right-winger, that does elucidate why they email people who are progressives and, like, mislead them about the nature of the kind of show they're going to be on. I guess they also did that to Jordan Peterson to a certain extent, so maybe it's more across the board than that. But, you know, if you say, oh, you know, you're a progressive, you're going to debate people who are, like, conservatives. There should be a massive difference between conservatives and far-right people who are a fan of the dictator Franco, or people who believe in the white replacement theory. There should be a really big gap. And also, if somebody tells you that, like, listen, I'm so conservative that I think the modern Republican Party is, like, fucking leftist, like, I don't even want to know what is going on there, my guy. That sounds really concerning. Yeah. Not to mention that you gave specific examples of racism and tradwifery, like the whole white baby thing. Yeah, it wasn't just, like, hand-waving about, like, oh, they're racist because they're conservative. Which I think there are definitely conservative people that think that when you say that there's, like... Okay, first of all, my family's conservative. My family is, like, from very rural parts of the country. They're very conservative. They, you know, like, card-carrying fans of Rush Limbaugh, like, hunters, fishers... You know, they, like, kind of the stereotypical sort of middle-of-the-country Republican people. That's my family. That's what I grew up in. That's what I believed in for a long time because that was the culture I was raised in. I do not think that every conservative is a white supremacist. I do not think that every conservative is, like, necessarily an out-and-out racist. However, if your ideology, conclusively, scientifically, based on studies by people who study ideological pathways. And by the way, the main study that I cited in my video on tradwifery, though I didn't cite it directly in the video verbally because I was going from the top of my head because I was ranting, and then I was referencing it, you know, indirectly, and then I put kind of more concrete citations on screen. The people who did that research that showed the pipeline of tradwifery, they also do the same thing for radical leftist movements. They do it both for radical ideologies of the left and the right. So they're not just, like, liberal elites who hate conservatism because, they hate traditional values. Like, they do this for both sides. They study radicalism in general. And yeah, so I don't know. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink unless you're a pony player and you're in a DS relationship, in which case maybe you have a water-based CNC type dynamic, in which case maybe your dom can make you drink water. Maybe that's a possibility. But, you can tell people, hey, here's examples of people. Like, and there was stuff I couldn't even, like, the stuff I couldn't show on screen that was really bad were, like, literally people with, like, neo-Nazi profile pictures, like, commenting, like, SS symbols and, like, just, like, overt, like, old school, like, Aryan Nation, like, 90s Nazi shit. Like, just, like, overt Nazi stuff that, like, I'm pretty sure if I showed it on YouTube would not be okay. Normally if she's doing that kind of movement, she's not dreaming. She's normally stretching and, like, trying to, like, itch her ear, honestly, or, like, trying to get my attention. I think it's super important to talk to people when possible, because if conservatives never talk to anyone else, they'll probably just get worse. I mean, yeah, if your only outlet is, like, especially with the media that they're consuming as well, it's important to get the ideas in front of them. Like, I don't think you're going to convince the, like, 45-year-old card-carrying member of the Aryan Nation that, like, white replacement theory isn't real, or that immigration isn't, like, destroying employment in America, or whatever it is they believe. You're not going to convince them, but you might convince their kids. Or you might convince the kids they go to school with. Or you might convince the, like, 15-year-old, 16-year-old boy who is lonely and hormonal and, like, doesn't feel supported at home and feels like an outcast in their school. You might be able to reach them and, like, help them be a little bit more compassionate. But maybe, we should be careful about how we're doing it, because the argument that, like, oh, if you just bring them onto a platform to debate, you might necessarily convince anybody from their side, but showing them that their ideology might have, like, a level of value that's worth arguing over, like, is giving them more credence than they actually do. And I think that there is an importance to weighing that out when you're thinking about, like, debating people. I think in a YouTube video, especially when I'm not, like, showing specific people, I think that, sort of talking about the ideology and using a specific instance as a springboard is a good idea. But yeah. I have to listen to them in good faith in order to get them to listen to you. Well, I mean, do I have to listen in good faith to somebody who thinks that the white replacement theory is real when there's no scientific evidence whatsoever that that's all real? Like, what does good faith mean? I think sometimes people think good faith means that, like, you have good arguments, and, like, I don't think, depending what the argument is about, like, I don't think that there are good arguments for certain things. So I can't do things in good faith, right? If I think that there's like, for me, what I think good faith is like, if I'm talking, like, about the video made on trad wives, right? Like, I talk about how I think that there's things that are expressed in those videos that I think are, like, good things to say, that I think maybe mitigate the furthest extent of, negative ideas that could be shared. I don't know if that sentence makes sense. I left the alt-right because my crush cared enough to talk to me. I owe my de-radicalization to her. My greatest regret is fucking up that friendship. Oh, well, I'm sorry that happened, but also I'm very glad that you're able to get out of that, because I think one of the things, as a generally compassionate person, compassion is a big part of my value system. It's a big part of who I am, that informs my politics and the way that I believe about things. One of the things that I don't like about far-right movements is I see that it causes damage to people. Like, I see that the shame and the fear that goes along with far-right ideology, like, makes people's lives worse. And that's what leads to, like, doomerism and the black pill and, like, the really, really radical, scary, like, far-right, like, militia movements where they are basically willing to, like, lay their lives on the lines to, like, I don't know, take over some BLM land, like culty stuff. Like, that's really scary to me. And I want people to live happy, healthy lives. And if they're being put down a pipeline where their lives are going to be made worse, like, I care about that because I don't want people to unnecessarily suffer. But what I would consider to be good faith is, like, talking in videos about, hey, this person that I'm kind of using as a springboard to talk about bigger issues, like, here's things that they said that I think are good ideas, or at least, like, aren't actively bad ideas. Like, talking about, the fact that, like, not all men are worthy to submit to just because they're men, or talking about how, you know, she allows her husband to do this, which sort of implies the fact that she could revoke consent at any time. But there's things about the ideology that maybe make that more difficult, you know, easier said than done. Things like that I think are good. But it still doesn't mean that I don't have disagreements, or that I don't think that the ideology underlining is dangerous. But, you know, if that's good enough for people is ultimately going to be subjective, I think. Yeah. Oh no, is the stream lagging? Oh no! Oh, that sucks. I'm so sorry. I'm not seeing anything. Let me see what YouTube says. I'm going to check it real quick, and then we'll get back into it. YouTube on my end saying stream is healthy. Stream is, it's literally saying stream is excellent is actually what it's telling me. Stream is excellent. OBS is saying that stream is excellent. That could just be an internet thing on your side, maybe. I'm not sure. Or maybe something with like a YouTube server. I'm not sure. That is odd. Yes, yeah, it's very important to have boundaries, and you're never obligated, maybe instead of entitled, never entitled to talk to people like that. So, yeah. My father's side is very right-leaning conservative Christian in their ideology. My sister's two youngest boys are a bit more socially liberal because I challenge them to think for themselves. I mean, hey, I'm glad that you're playing that role. I think it's good to have, you know, sometimes I think people don't know how to talk to teenagers, or like especially preteens, about stuff like this, because they either think that they don't know about it and they're not interacting about it, or they're like, you know, I don't know, they just don't know what to do. And I think it's important to have family members and people in your life that will talk to you about, you know, anything really, like serious, like real world issues. Like talk to them about politics, talk to them about like relationships and dating and marriage, like get them to reflect on what their own beliefs are and where those things come from. I think that's important. You are approximately 31 minutes late, Henry, but don't worry about it. There is plenty more to go in the stream. You had to refresh twice? Oh no. That sucks. There were a couple of very brief glitches that other folks noticed too. Hasn't been too bad. Oh, that's so weird. I wonder why YouTube... I'll just have to probably send in like a stream health report or something afterwards, and, you know, tell them that the people reported issues. Because, yeah, it's not... if there was something that was being flagged on my end, I could maybe diagnose the issue, but it's hard to, like, live diagnose something that I'm not actually seeing happen on my end. So that's weird. I'm sorry about that. I wish I had an answer. All right. Okay, so... that's the right-wing stuff that's been happening. My sister went from right-wing to left progressive, trans-friendly, ally, and bi-questioning. Just took many years in her own effort. I mean, sometimes that's how it is. I mean, I've seen that in my own family. You know, my family and I, we don't, like... I have my own boundaries about, like, kind of what subjects I'll get into with my family, because I think boundary setting when you have conversations is important. But I know that just by existing as like a kind, compassionate person and like maybe occasionally bringing up important issues, I know that I've helped my family be more accepting of like gay issues, and especially trans people. And that's important to me, because it's like, I don't know, they're just like people. Like, they're just human beings. Is it really worth, you know, getting in a fuss about? But luckily my family also has some level of discernment, and they can figure out that, like, oh, maybe it's fucking weird that Tucker Carlson is ranting about the green M&M. You know, like, they're not really culture war people, so that makes it a bit easier. They're not getting suckered into like the war on Christmas, you know, the green M&M, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't, if my family was like, if I had to go to Thanksgiving dinner and my family was a sort that would be concerned about like, whoa, but they made the M&Ms woke, I might not come back. Like, I might have to just do like solo Thanksgiving. I don't know if I could survive. Oh, geez, yeah. I think a bunch of it is general internet infrastructure. One of the major switches in my town got hit by a car and is messing things up. Oh, that sounds very concerning. I mean, I have seen there be car crashes into power equipment before around here, so it won't be the first time. My formerly progressive artist uncle has been someone I've been witnessing going down the MAGA pipeline in real time, so it's so frustrating. I mean, there is like a whole like blue anon thing, right? Like, you get the people that are like, they believe in the deep state, but like are Democrats, and then I think that kind of leads them into like right-wing ideology. So, you know, there's pipelines in every direction. Putting chemicals in the water, making the frogs gay. Yeah, I mean, that's funny, but also like that's also something I can have like a conversation with my family about. Yeah. What does my family think about me as a content creator? We don't talk about it, is the answer. I don't think that they like it. Because they're more traditionally minded. They're concerned about, like, you know, well, but there's no job security, right? I'm like, fuck, there's no job security in any job that I would work. Like, my company could be bought tomorrow and then, like, shut down. Like, even when I worked, like, a more traditional job and, like, I worked in an office, like, there still wasn't job security in that. Like, the pandemic happened and then, like, that job basically didn't exist for, like, 3 years. Like, you know, it's all a crapshoot, people. It's all a crapshoot. The M&Ms should be fuckable, though. No, they shouldn't. They should be asexual, aromantic. They should not be. If you want fuckable food, look at like Carl's Jr. Yeah. Someone needs to do a deep dive into the psychological ideology of Tucker Carlson. I feel like, hasn't like Jose Not-a-J like done a video about that? There's somebody in that, maybe it wasn't Jose, but it was somebody in that general wheelhouse of content creation where I'm pretty sure they've talked about Tucker Carlson. I'm pretty sure Some More News has made videos about Tucker Carlson. There is so much out there about Tucker Carlson. I think all you really need to know, honestly, is that he used to wear a bow tie. And I feel like that explains everything. I feel like if you just know that he started on MSNBC wearing a bow tie, everything else afterwards, you go, oh, that makes sense. You just go, oh, no more details. Yep, that's it. That is just it. Yeah. Okay. Breathe in and eat. You're doing fine. I've had like a tickle in the back of my throat like all day today, and like I can't get rid of it, and it's really bothering me. Actually, I have cough drops. I'm just gonna get a cough drop. All right, hopefully this will help. I just like forget that I have medicine. I just forget that I like, oh, there's solutions to these problems. I have a friend who went from being a hardcore Trump-loving conservative to becoming an anarchist, or so he thought, back to being a Trump supporter. You know what? That's like a Joe Rogan. You know, that's like, my ideology is the last person I spoke to. And like, honestly, bless him. Yeah, Bandita had an opportunity to take over the live stream, and you did not leap to that opportunity. It's weird saying the lower half of your body used to seeing torso up. Yeah, that is weird, right? It's like, look, I have legs. I'm like I'm a real person. I have a body. Just in case you were ever concerned that I'm just a floating torso. I'm also having the damnedest time finding shorts, okay? I wear a size 25 or a size 0, and I have bought 4 pairs of jeans. Are fine. I have jeans that fit. Fucking shorts, every single pair I buy is like at least an inch too big. And I'm like, what is happening here? What is going on? Are we having the opposite of shrinkflation for clothing? If you guys know where to buy good denim shorts, please let me know. That's my one request. Tell me where I can buy denim shorts, because I want one pair of black denim shorts I can wear this summer that has some kind of inseam, because I have Daisy Dukes. I got my like borderline unwearable in public black shorts. What I don't have are like, I don't want like mom shorts. I don't want like showing my underwear shorts. I want regular short shorts that are black, and I can't fucking find them. That's my girl problem for the day. I feel like Tucker Carlson is out simply to build a career and make a name for himself. He doesn't care about politics or religion beyond how it helps advance his interests. I think he might be a Christian in the heart of hearts. Like, I think that's probably the thing that's most solid about him that could be real, is that he's a Christian. Because that's true of a lot of the conservatives. Doesn't mean he like follows all of Jesus' teachings. No. But it does mean I think he genuinely believes that like God created the earth and blah, blah, blah. I used to be a size 0, 25, and I could only find perfect ones at PacSun. Oh my god, I used to buy all my jeans and shorts at PacSun. You're right. I forgot about them because I don't go to the mall anymore. No, they're still around. They're still around. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm just a rectangle. That's how God made me. I can't help it. I just, you know, I think honestly it would be easier if I had an hourglass figure, because I feel like that's how a lot of things are cut now, and that's just not me. Yeah. Rag and Bone, but they're expensive. Secondhand. Okay, I'll look at Rag and Bone. I think I've looked at like shirts and stuff from them before. All right, thank you for I'll look at Rag and Bone and PacSun. I only need one pair. If I could just find one pair that worked, I'd be good. I am rectangular. Wait, is that a song? Is that a song reference to like the meme of like, I am rectangular? I've not thought about that in like a year, if that's the reference you're making. Or it could just be a... I hope anybody knows that reference. Acceptance with a tailor is the only answer. Oh, true. I should just I honestly have a pile of clothes I need to go to the tailors, and I just like never get around to it. The measurements are a lie. It's weird that it works for jeans though, because jeans fit me. If I buy off a waist size, they work. But shorts, they're like always an inch too big, and I'm like, what's happening here? What's going on? Doesn't make any sense. I'm a conspiracy theorist for a couple of things, and one of the things that I'm a conspiracy theorist about is jean sizes. I do think that that's just a crapshoot. That doesn't make any sense. If they have a 1488 in their username, run. Yes. Yeah. Or a 7 even. A 7 can also be dubious, of like a 744. You got to be careful about those people. Yeah. Honestly, if I see anybody who's like a white supremacist who's like real out there, I just don't engage. But Anita does need the shout out of people loving her. All right, I'm going back and I'm looking for questions. So if you want to have your question answered, now is a good time to make that happen. Otherwise, I will just rant about... Listen, if you guys like me ranting, if you like the rant portion of these live streams where I read comments and then rant about whatever random shit and talk about jeans for 2 hours, if you want that experience, join the Patreon. Watch our Tuesday live streams. On Tuesday, we watch YouTube videos and shoot the breeze, and it's a great time. And we always end up talking about... I don't even know what, like chili recipes, and what did we even talk about this week? It was like also very random. We just have a great time. You know, we share recipes, we talk about the week, we watch YouTube videos, we reminisce about the old days on Tumblr. It's a fun time. So if I just plug the Tuesday streams on Patreon, because I can get into topics and like say words I can't say on YouTube and show things, and it's a fun time. I'm with you on the jean size conspiracy. I haven't been able to find jeans that fit properly in years. Anything that fits my waist doesn't pull over my hips. Anything that pulls over my hips doesn't fit on my waist. Yeah, that is, I think maybe because I'm a rectangle, I think I actually end up being better off in that department, because I could definitely see an issue where like if I had wider hips or I had like a bigger butt, that it would be a struggle. Because even like pulling on my jeans now is a struggle sometimes, unless they're like the boxy cut. I like your shoelaces. Yeah, I like your shoelaces too. What's the Nazi thing behind the 7s? Oh, it's half of the 14 words. It's like a way to get away with like abbreviating the 14 words without actually, you know. I think platforms have picked up on like 1488 being like problematic, which is a very banal way of saying it, and so that'll end up being like censored. But 7 is like a little sneakier. That's kind of a workaround that they do. I just wanted to thank you for mentioning asexuality. We often get ignored or told we're not part of the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, I'm glad I mentioned it, because I am part of that spectrum. I am on the A spectrum personally, so I'm more than happy to mention it, because I am one of the club. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna take care of something real quick, and it'll literally be like 10 seconds, okay? All right, we're back. All right, hopefully you all behaved. Our rosaries a Tradcath day choker. You know, there's not zero similarities. It is a sign of your faith. It is a uniquely Catholic thing. Especially if you pray on a rosary regularly, it is a symbol of devotion. It is something you can use ritualistically. It was originally given as a gift. My Catholic teachings are a little rusty. If I remember correctly, the rosary was a gift from Mary to the apostles. So, yeah, I mean, there's not zero overlap. The Tuesday live streams are the best. Also, if you join the Patreon now. Oh, yes, we're having a movie night. Thank you. I didn't forget it's movie night. I just forgot about also promoting it. Don't worry. I have the movie night in my thing. Okay, so this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday afternoon, we're doing a little matinee, 4 p.m., as Twixie pointed out. Thank you, Twixie. We are doing a viewing of the Belgian BDSM movie that I have looked high and low for many years from a legitimate source. I have found it with English subtitles. It is, I believe, a Dutch language Belgian movie called S&M Judge, and it's based on a real story about a real judge who had a kink relationship with his wife go public, and I am very excited about it. Listen, there's needleplay in it. There's shibari rope bondage. There's Jennings gags. This is not 50 Shades of Grey kink. This is, Dutch people, very kinky. Proportionally, the size of the country, very kinky. So they know what they're doing when it comes to making kink movies, all right? I trust them, and I'm excited about it. I don't think I've ever seen needleplay in a BDSM movie before, and I am stoked. So if you want to join us, it's tomorrow. It's at 4 p.m. And also, it's for anyone, any tier on Patreon. If you can't watch it live, a recording the commentary will be available on Vimeo, and so you can just replay it if you want to catch it later. Same thing with many of our other movie nights. Some of them have had to remove because of, copyright reasons, but a lot of our other previous commentary movie nights, like the ones I've done for 50 Shades of Grey, those are up on Patreon as well if you want to give those a view. The song, it doesn't have a specific name, but it is a song that is from a person on VGen who made it custom just for me. Their information is in the description box down below if you want to check them out. They do all kinds of their own music as well as making music for streamers and content creators, and I definitely recommend them. They were very easy and good to work with, and they totally got the vibe. But the vibe that I sort of directed them with was Birthday Massacre and Typo Negative and dark wave synthwave stuff. So if you like that kind of music, you might want to look that kind of thing up, just in case you haven't. I'm going out to a water park as part of therapy tomorrow. Good luck. I don't know how that connects to therapy. I guess that could be exposure therapy. Good luck. Have fun. I personally, maybe this is what you're doing it for, I cannot do water slides at water parks. I if I had to go back now and do one, I used to do them when I was a teenager with friends. But last time I went to a water park was probably 15 years ago. The idea of going on a water slide now, I couldn't do it. It would literally be, oh God, I'm realizing my partners might be watching the live stream. They might hear this idea. Fuck it. Okay. Always gotta be cautious. Listen, as much as I give your doms terrible ideas on live streams, I also give my own doms terrible ideas on my own live streams. So don't ever think it's just me screwing y'all over. I also screw myself over, okay? And I was thinking, well, if I was gonna go on a water slide again, one of those really tall ones you have to go up on the wooden ladder structures. If I had to do one of those again, it would have to be a CNC thing. It would have to be with my partner, and they'd have to go on the slide with me. If I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna do it solo. Okay, they'd have to go with me, but they could technically compel me to go down a water slide, and then I would do it, and only then. I think a roller coaster might be a hard limit, though. I think that might be beyond the reach of of CNC. I don't think I could do like one of those, maybe like a baby roller coaster. But like, you know, those really like tall ones that they're like biggest roller coaster in North America. Like that's just, I'm not doing that. Sorry, can't do it. In my defense, I did almost fall off a carnival ride once when I was like 5 years old. So there's like, the reason I feel the way that I do about roller coasters is not entirely for nothing. Where do you fall on the spectrum of asexuality? I don't even know anymore. I think gray sexual is probably still the closest label, but I honestly have been through like so many changes in the last like year or two, and like not necessarily in like how I feel, but like I think what I think is the best way to label myself maybe has changed. And so normally just like queer and like gray A, and that's kind of it. And it's really interesting because I tell you what, people have one of two reactions to that a lot of the time, especially on dating apps. And they just go like, oh, okay. And they just like, don't care. And they're like, okay, well, what does that mean for like, what do you see the point of this relationship being? And then I explain it, and then it's fine. And then other people that are like horrified and they feel tricked and they're like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, I mean, I did say on my profile that like sex isn't that important to me and I'm not looking for one night stands and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, some people just take it personally and they think, well, but you do this with so-and-so, are you blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, that's not universal. That took time to work up to, okay? That's not just something that happens every time, always, forever, for anyone. Like, it's unique. But I definitely feel like I identify more with, like, demisexual than I used to. I feel like gray is probably still the closest, but it's, like, somewhere in the gray A demi side of things, I think where we're at now. You just like the color purple and took it too far. Yeah, you're right. It's like, listen, I have a confession to make. I'm not actually on the ace spectrum. Purple is my favorite color, and I just saw the ace pride flag, and I thought that looked cool, and I started to use it, and then suddenly, you know, I was lying about my sexual orientation because of how much I like the color purple. It's a facade I can't maintain anymore. It's killing me. Oh, it's Aaron's birthday today. Tell him I said happy birthday. I baked him mint chocolate cupcakes. Is it like chocolate cupcakes with like a mint frosting? That sounds really good. I'm very pro. Did you like a little mint leaf? Like a mint leaf and then like the little like birthday candle on the cupcakes? That would be very cute. That's adorable. Isn't it so fun when people you like have birthdays? I'm like so excited. I have like, first of all, everyone I know is born in September. Everyone I know is born in September. There's like 4 birthdays in that month. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to hopefully mostly be around normal stuff, but it's like there's Folsom and there's birthdays and like I'm probably going to go camping, and I am honestly very excited to like, I'm like, can I like make you a bunting? Can I make you I know you're going to be a bajillion years old, but like, can I make you a bunting that says happy birthday, blah, blah, blah person's name? Like, can I do that for you? Would that be too extra? But also I tend to mostly be around people that are like, I hate my birthday. I hate remembering the fact that I'm put on this earth. like jokingly emo about it. Ooh, fun size Andes mints. Oh, that's cute. I like that. It's honestly better, probably. That's tastier. That's great. I'm going to take that idea. I don't know how I'd veganize that, but I do love a chocolate mint combo. I think honestly, here's another conspiracy theory. I think people who don't like chocolate mint don't like it because it's popular. I think they're lying to themselves. I think if they had it, they would say that actually is really good. And they would like it. But they don't like it because it's too popular. I think people get fixated on like the ownership aspect of the choker. The choker is currently fighting dolphins in Peru. Wait, do you mean like why does that make me think of like, I don't know, like the plastic bottle rings for like a 12-pack of soda, or a 6-pack, I guess. I actually don't know. Is soda 6-packs or 12-packs? I feel like I see both. Yeah, people get, I don't know if it's fixated. I mean, at least for me, if you're wearing a collar, like a day collar, an everyday collar, 24/7 collar, that to me, the intention of it is to signal a sign of ownership. But you can wear other types of collars and like not call them a day collar, or like not call them an infinity or an eternity collar, and you can just like wear one for fun. You can just wear one because it goes with your outfit. You can wear one because you're submissive. You want other people to know you're submissive. You can wear one because it's made out of real leather and you're trying to like break it in and like, you know, have it be more comfortable for when you wear it during the dungeon. Like, there are many different ways to approach wearing a collar for sure. I have 6 birthdays for people I'm close with in August. That is, can you tell 2 of them to combine a birthday party? So you only have to do one every weekend. Is that a thing that you could possibly do? Ways of canning. I mean, I do like canning. I like a water bath can. I know that you probably meant caning, but I do also like water bath canning. I like, I just do like jams, preserves. I think actually what's a really fun one to do that not enough people do is like, preserved lemons, just like in the fridge, salt, good stuff. Or sugar. You could do sugar. Make a sugar syrup in the fridge. More people should try it. All right. Let's see. A barbecue restaurant I visited had a large ice cream sundae menu, and it included a Thin Mint sundae with mint chocolate chip ice cream and actual Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies. That has to be like that's a birthday treat right there. I don't dislike chocolate mint. I'm just not super into it. Yeah. All right, hipster. That's an acceptable answer. I won't ban you for that. It wasn't a motorcycle, but it was somebody blasted music. Going really fast for that road. Is YouTube messing with my replies on one comment? That's possible. I don't see anything, though. For me, Joker equal DC villain. Joker equals something I don't do because I know. Too less. Oh, like choker. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Bandita is basking. EVAI is a replacement of the topic of medical advice. I know. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I should encourage that. I think people should just talk to doctors. If they can. I know it's not always possible. Doctors do be expensive. 100 here with 81% humidity. I'm so sorry. I hope that does not last for a long time. I didn't take my toy bag to the last newbie party, but talked with the tops and the practice bottom. Also, I currently have my window open, and I'm like, do my neighbors hear me talking about practice bottoms? You know what I'm doing here? I don't know. I didn't take my toy bag last newbie party, but talked with the tops and the practice bottom, and they all encouraged me to bring it next month. Good. I hope you do that. I think it's a good idea just to like keep it low key the first time around, and hope you have a fun time next time you get to go, because that's an exciting development. Also in the single column, tie by feel without looking. Hell yeah. I mean, honestly, okay, I have a secret plan. This is my secret plan. All right, I'm divulging a secret to all of you. I think that a lot of people could learn how to like bondage if they didn't try to do pattern rope. I think a lot of people think, oh my God, it's so complicated. You know, people say, right, there's all the knots and there's all the patterns and it's so, look at it. It's so, they look at it like a Japanese shibari suspension where they got all the uplines going, and it's like, then it was like Kinko, Hajime, like performance art pieces, and it's like, how am I supposed to do that? That sounds like, they get overwhelmed, think they can't do it. Or in my experience, they have ADHD and they do not expect to ever be able to hold their attention that long on something that's not just, you know, directly tactile in the way that they're used to. And I think if instead what we could do is just teach people nerve stuff, single column tie, even just a lark's head, honestly, in a lot of cases, like how to join rope and how to do a hitch. Just it could be pick a hitch. Just at least one of them. You just do that and then say, have fun. I think people would like rope a lot more if it was just like, just do something that like seems fun or like puts your partner in like a funny position, whether it's because you like torturing them or you want to put them in like a interesting position for sexual reasons or whatever, like there, you can just do that. You don't have to have like a perfectly constructed calf binder. You can just fuck around a little bit. As long as you're not, you know, going directly over somebody's throat, you know, and tighten it down, like there's a lot of wiggle room in rope just to like do stuff that looks fun. So I think if you're learning just like a single column tie and you can do that real quick, you don't necessarily have to be able to do anything else fancy after that. You can very easily turn that into all kinds of different restraint that are very fun and satisfying. And not saying you have to stop there, but I think if you really, really get that down pat, it'll serve you, I think, a lot better than people assume that it will. For self-play for myself, crochet the rope and play around. LOL, yeah. Yeah, does the clove hitch count? I learned that one in Boy Scouts. I don't know, people use clove hitches. I haven't heard it by that name. It's possible it gets called by something else, like a more like Japanese influence name in like shibari circles. What is a clove hitch? Like cow hitches are like not super common. No, because I don't think, unless there's a way to do like a doubled up clove hitch, I'm not recognizing that as something I see from shibari, but it's like totally not impossible that it's in there. Maybe just like it looks different, because I'm not very good at identifying like stuff from like traditional like rope knotwork pictures. There's all different kinds of hitches and frictions that are out there. But if you understand the principle of a hitch, then like, you know, you're a step ahead there as far as that goes. Surprised more Boy Scouts aren't into rope bondage. Lots of knots are taught in the Boy Scout manual, including the clove hitch. Well, it's because rope bondage is not really about knots. And, like, I mean, maybe more from the perspective of, okay, you learned rope, you did stuff with rope at, like, a formative age, which is kind of around the time when people maybe start developing their sexual interests for some people. You think it would be more impactful from that lens of like doing like Boy Scout role play? That's what I'm more surprised by, that there's not more like Boy Scout and like scouting role play. I see that more from girls, and that's mostly into like, I don't know, I want to do forced lesbian exploration role play stuff with my like role play scout leader is like, I think more what I see. But you know, men, they don't really do the Boy Scout stuff so much. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, consent is definitely a big part of it, for sure. All right. Let's get to some more questions. One of the fascists lost his job, but has crowdfunded over 30K, I think, unfortunately. I mean, he knew what he was doing getting on that show. You said the words that you were going to say. No one can... no one made you say anything. No one even made you go up. You could have just sat your ass in the circle, and then just no one would know your opinions. But yeah, no, it's not surprising. Using it as an opportunity for a grift is a tale as old as time. Oh, little stretchies again. Yeah, watching them feed off each other. Really? But my fan is on. How is the camera overheating? Darn it. Okay, well, y'all are gonna have to just enjoy only looking at my dog for approximately the next 2 minutes. I haven't had my camera overheat while I've had the fan on before. That's interesting. Concerning. I mean, I can feel that it's on. Is it maybe not pointing far enough in the right direction? Okay, whatever. Hey, I'm a disembodied voice. Welcome. There's a direct link between kink and English boarding schools, which is why all the Tories are into it. That's the thing, though, because you're right. Because Tories and like anyone who went to like a boarding school or like a public school in the UK, like, they love the nannies. They love the strict motherly figure role play. They love corporal punishment. They love all that stuff. It's just, English kink is a little different for sure. I don't know if there's more media referencing Girl Scouts. I don't know. I feel like it's pretty even. All right, I'm going to try to turn the camera back on here. It doesn't actually feel hot, so I don't know what happened there. Okay. I know I moved. I know. What happened? Big yawn, my baby. Aw, good girl. Yeah, my stream is haunted by me. Can you haunt your own live stream? Yeah, welcome to the Banditi show. She's a woman of few words. It's really like more like a meditation practice. She's really good at that. That's probably more her bag. Oh, who's feeding off each other? Oh, the people that were on the Jubilee show. They were feeding off of each other because they were like, yeah, I do believe in the beauty of white children. And they were like, yeah, I also like white babies. Like, that was the vibe. It was concerning. Question, going to my first play party in a few weeks' time. What should I expect? By that I mean environment, do's and don'ts. Will I look like a creeper being there but not joining in? Okay, great question. Classic question. Love to answer it. What you should expect will depend on the venue, because every dungeon is a little bit different, and it depends a little bit on where you live, because also, like, things are regional. But what I would generally expect is there will probably be some kind of sitting area, like with chairs or couches or something for people. It could be around sort of the outline of the dungeon, or it could be a separate area. There will be a place to like probably put bags and coats, and it'll be more or less most of the time a more open format, and there'll be different areas where there's different pieces of dungeon furniture, like some kind of spanking bench or spanking horse, maybe a rack, maybe a massage table, maybe mats on the floor. Could be anywhere from like 3 to like a dozen pieces of furniture. There might be equipment there for people to do things like suspension and do rope bondage. There might not be. Depends on the space, depends on how old it is, depends on if rope bondage is like a big thing in the community that you're a part of. Most events, most dungeons I've been to for just like regular weekly parties, you're probably going to see between, I would say like 20 to 50 people is probably average. But if it's a big party night, if it's like, maybe it's like a special event or something, you might see more than that. But 20 to 50 people is about how many I would expect. You're going to see a lot of people socializing and not necessarily playing on furniture, especially if there's a lot of people and relatively few pieces of furniture. So you won't be a creeper if you don't like join in, because if it's a dungeon that has really regular play parties, a lot of people just go to the dungeon to like socialize with friends and then like maybe do a scene when they get around to it. They don't necessarily go in planning, I'm going to show up, I'm going to start doing a scene immediately. Some people just don't do that. So you will probably have opportunities to socialize with people in a more casual way. What would make you a creeper is if you are like getting really close to scenes, or you're trying to talk to people while they're playing or when they're in aftercare. Just like, don't do that. Follow what other people are doing. If you see that other people are all like sitting down politely away from scenes, do that. Don't stand and leer over a scene if nobody else is doing that. Now, if other people are standing really close, and it seems to be more the sense that people like reserve the seating for aftercare and then they're standing up and kind of walking around, do that. Follow other people's lead. You can always ask a DM, either the event organizer or a DM, and you can say, hey, I'm new here. I just want to make sure, like, what should I know about being in this space? Like, I want to make sure that I'm following the rules, right? Even if you're just like checking in, you ask them like a really brief question, most people are going to appreciate that you asked, as opposed to like assuming and then maybe doing something that might be awkward or like make other people uncomfortable. But yeah, you're going to see a mix of people playing, just socializing. Without knowing the specific theme of the event night, it's kind of hard to know exactly what you would see. But you'll probably see definitely people being naked of all different types, all ages, all bodies. So be prepared for that. If you are not used to people being naked in like gym locker rooms or like at the pool, like the pool like changing room, that might be a little bit of a shock for you. So just be prepared to see all different types and levels of nudity. Depending on where you're at, you might also see some level of sex. Some places are very sex focused. Some places are not at all, and might even have sex be against the rules of the space that you're in. So read up on that, read the rules. By the way, in general, always read the rules for the space before you go, if they have them available. If they don't have any available, either on our website or on FatLife or the event listing, message people, ask what they are. Ask them to give you a sense of what the event space is like, because that'll tell you a lot. Some places, people are very casual. They don't ever really dress up. The doms are all wearing like casual black t-shirts with like maybe a funny cartoon on it and shorts, and the women are naked or have like black lingerie on. Other places, people really dress up, they go out to the nines, it's treated like a special event or like going out to a club. So that'll tell you more about the culture of the space that you're going to. But I think it probably won't be as overwhelming as you suspect that it might be. A lot of just regular weekly like dungeon parties are like fairly low key because they're pretty routine for the people who are going to them. So it's gonna be less like showing up at a bar in like the middle of a party happening, and more like when you go to the bar after work on like a Thursday. Like the locals are there, the regulars are there, but there's not anything big happening. There's no show. It's a normal regular experience. But yeah, when in doubt, wear black. Ask people about things before you touch them, before you shake hands, anything. Asking by default's a good position to be in if you're not sure how else to act. Like asking the organizers, they can meet you / recognize you. Sorry to ask already, I spaced out a lot. Is there a way to ask someone to go to lunch with you beforehand if you don't have any friends that are into it IRL? Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it helps if you're kind of like somewhat connected to the community before you do that. Just so that way you know that the offer you're getting is legitimate. But I'm sure if let's say that there's a local organization in your town where they host like a weekly play party, and they also have like a munch they do every week before that. They might have a group on FetLife, they might have a Discord group, and you can ask in there, hey, I'm a new person, I would like to have somebody to go with, like, so I already like know their name or whatever. Is somebody like willing to meet up with me and go with me? And I am confident there are people that would be more than willing to like meet up with you beforehand, like maybe meet up like 20 minutes before the munch and like grab a coffee with you and just help you not be so nervous. Or even if they're not necessarily going to meet up with you ahead of time, they might be willing to look out for you at the event and just go, oh, hey, this is so-and-so, I met them on FetLife, blah, 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 like, and help you have an in to their group. And I think you're going to have more luck than you might suspect trying to look for that. But again, I would look for like local organizations, what groups they have on FetLife, posting in their groups, looking in their Discord chat, or the other thing that I might do, if maybe that's not a thing for the groups that you're a part of, you can always ask the organizer and the host of the event, and they are sort of like, that's their role because they're hosting a social event. So they should be willing if either to ask your questions or to like be a friendly face for you at the event. Like if it's like, hey, I'm interested in going to your munch, but I don't really know anybody. Help me out. What should I do, please? And then they'll know to look out for you and they can help you out. But otherwise, my caution with that is if you just post really generally for people to like, hey, I want somebody to go to a munch with me, you can't necessarily know if those people have ulterior motives or not if you're casting a really wide net, especially. So I would have a little bit of caution about that. But there's definitely ways to find people for sure. In my experience, a lot of people who host munches are communicative and often accommodating, so I think you could absolutely DM them and ask. I might not be understanding the question though. Oh yeah, that's what I assume. I think you're on the right track, Lexi. Maybe I didn't quite get that question right, but I think I got it, yeah. Do as Nirvana do, come as you are. Always good advice. Always good advice just to be who you are. And, the kink community is full of just regular, everyday people. It's not all like hot models in lingerie. It's not all people that know everything about everything. It's a lot of just normal human beings, and it's okay. You will live. It's if you don't like it, you can always just leave. If you show up, if you're there for 5 minutes and you're like, these are not my people, this is not my crowd, that's totally fine. Leave. You don't have no obligation to stay. You have no obligation even to say bye to people if you don't want to. People come and go from munches and do Irish goodbyes all the time. It's okay. It'll be fine. You can always try another one. I do recommend them showing up early because the later it is into a munch, the more likely it is that people are just going to be really invested in their conversations and be kind of settled into their group dynamic for the evening. And it's going to be harder to break in once it's a lot of people and they're with their like normal group. Thank you. That's what it's like for me. I'm so new to BDSM. IRL is terrifying for me and my friends. Like, I wish I had more courage. I really want to learn more in 10 classes. Well, actually, it might be easier if you attend a class first. Because then you don't have to, you're just sitting and watching people. You don't have to say anything. So you might actually, like, if you want to meet people, but maybe you want to meet somebody who can go to a munch with, like, go to a class that interests you. Again, you don't have to say the whole time. People leave classes constantly. That's part of, like, the whole dynamic. But maybe meeting people at a class, if you have a common interest, if you want to know about, like, power exchange or spanking or something, go to beginner-friendly class, meet some people, and then you can mention, like, hey, I'm curious about checking out this munch. Like, would you want to go too? And then, like, before you know it, you got somebody you can go to a munch with. And so that might actually be an easier way to approach that, actually, is going to other social events first, a little bit more, that are less social heavy and are more facilitated, that don't require you just, like, butting into a conversation where you don't know anybody. Is the Irish goodbye the opposite of the Minnesota goodbye? Well, I don't know what the Minnesota goodbye is. I'm assuming the Minnesota goodbye is where you go, well, it's about that time, and then you don't leave for like 2 more hours. The Irish goodbye is where you leave without saying anything. The background for your dog is a bit too light. Yeah, the curtains are open. But this is the key. This is the catch-22, is if I get up and I close the curtains, she'll wake up and she'll move. And so in order to enjoy her in her current, present, beautiful form, I have to leave the curtains open. Excuse me. Excuse me. Ooh. After the first munch, I went to a class. Classes are definitely the best way to ease into things. It's also kind of a nice filter or filler thing. Oh, apparently me coughing made the camera defocus. Oh, it was my water bottle, probably. That made it worse. Okay, there we go. Or was I just reading? After the first munch, I went to a class. Classes are definitely the best way to ease in to these things. It also is kind of a nice filler thing if you don't want to socialize much but still want to participate. Yes. Yeah, I think classes are really good for that. And then you'll have more confidence because then you'll know some things. And then so when you go to a munch, you'll be more confident and familiar with, like, the language and things that are going on. Thank you. I saw an IRL kind of performance of Kink, and it was beautiful. It was so lovely, and I felt very accepted just watching, LOL. I went to a Kink shop as well recently, and they said they'd love to see me in their classes. Well, I hope you go to those, because that sounds like it's a really good opportunity, and classes are a great way to meet people. Classes are just a good way to be in the community, and also, like, classes are hard to host for places. Like, they're an expense. You have to, like, have the event space open for the day, and if places aren't getting enough ticket sales and not enough people go to them, they stop doing classes. So by going to classes, you also are showing that that's something that the community there wants to see and wants to keep having happen. Yeah. I was always nervous about going to a dungeon myself as an autistic person. Went to a free discussion group at one last month to check it out. Best decision I ever made. Oh yeah, discussion groups are also a really good entry point. I don't do this as commonly as classes or munches, but if you have one, those are my favorite personally, because I feel like it's kind of that in between like a munch and a class. And so it gives people a good way to ask questions in a non-judgmental space on a specific topic, but they don't have to, like, butt into conversations. They don't have to try to insert themselves, and they don't have to say anything if they don't want to, but still, be able to participate in the experience. And also, lots of neurodivergent people in the Kink community. So you might think, oh my gosh, I might not fit in here because I'm autistic or I have ADHD or whatever other thing. And there's so many. Honestly, the more that I've thought about it, the more that I really do. I don't think this is, like, there's not any one group that, like, created BDSM, right? It's kind of a convergent evolution from many different communities around the same time, and also kind of borrowing from each other. And, like, the history there is complicated. It's not just, like, gay men's leather. It's not just that and the other. But I do think, especially the online BDSM community, there's a huge part of it that is very much influenced by early adopters of the internet. Who were early adopters of the internet? A lot of neurodivergent people. And so especially the online BDSM community, like with, like, the nerd cult, like the nerd community, or like different hobby groups, a lot of it is very influenced and shaped around the, like, needs and preferences of neurodivergent people. Not entirely, obviously, but I think that probably explains a lot of why, like, there's a feedback there. Like, neurodivergent people oftentimes like the BDSM community because of its clear structure, because of the fact that there's, like, rules and guidelines, because people do things like ask before touching, and because boundaries are respected, and people, generally speaking, aren't supposed to debate you over, like, I don't know, whether or not it's, like, ridiculous that you don't like it when people, like, pat your head. Right? And like things like stimming, like if you go to a munch and you have like a stim toy with you, like that's not going to be weird to most people. Like I've never been to a munch where it would be weird for somebody to be stimming or to have a stim toy with them or to need to put headphones in or to like take a break and go outside for a minute before coming back, because there are so many neurodivergent people that even if not everyone there is neurodivergent, they're used to being around it, and so they're less judgmental and like don't think it's weird when like, you know, somebody pulls out the fidget spinner, right? Like, that's just kind of, like, part of it. It's all good. Oh, that's so great. Our newbie parties offer free earplugs and sterile packs to anyone overwhelmed by the sounds of music. That is a great solution. I love that. A lot of play is very sensory, so no wonder neurodivergent folks gravitate to it. And I'm also autistic too. Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. Do your part to save the scene and go to events. Yeah, I mean, like, for real though. Like, you gotta, if you want things to exist, you have to go to them and pay for tickets. Yeah. Yeah, the amount of ND and queer people in the local scene helped me feel a lot more at home. Oh yeah, Usenet was where the BDSM as a culture really boomed back in the 90s. Yep, exactly. Hi, Vandita. You are getting close to the camera. You are, like, on top of the camera, basically. Look at the beautiful smiling face. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. What a decent girl. What a decent girl you are. Have you ever met a subscriber in a dungeon while you were in a scene? Yes, I have. I have been interrupted by people while I'm playing, because they're like, oh my gosh, my girlfriend or my so-and-so or my whoever loves your content. And it's like, I am on a bench right now. I am in the air. I'm so happy to meet them, but I'm kind of doing something. But I also met a lot of people just like at events. I've met people at munches. I've met people at conventions, regular BDSM parties, all kinds of places. So yeah, during a scene is the least common way, but it's not zero either. Yeah, like literally while I'm in a scene. Yep. It hasn't happened that often, but it's happened. It's one of the best things about most of the community. If you communicate that a boundary exists, you don't have to explain it or defend it. I think that's something also that's like an age thing as well. I think older people are like a little bit more likely to kind of thoughtlessly be like, well, but like, that seems weird. And they don't even necessarily mean anything bad by it. They just like haven't ever interfaced with that idea before, and so they're just like curious. They're like, oh well, why is that? And they don't necessarily understand that like asking might be rude. They might have good intentions with it, but they just, you know, they might be like, oh, I haven't heard that before, why are you like that? So it kind of just ends up being offensive, but they don't mean it that way. All right, more questions. Okay, we have, how do we only have half an hour? Yeah, sorry, a little tied up at the moment. Yeah, that should always be the implicit response is just, that's a good one. I'm pretty sure last week I answered that question about caning. I'm going to look though. We're just going to double check. Oh yeah, no, I answered that question last week. Go back and rewatch the stream from last week if you want the answer about what are different ways of being caned with a bamboo river cane stick? Yeah, don't cane people with bamboo. Don't do that. It'll shatter. You want cactus butt. If you want cactus butt, do that. If you don't want cactus butt, which you shouldn't, don't cane people with bamboo. You can use bamboo for kink things. You can use it as part of like a suspension rig. You can use it, with other types of bondage to like create different shapes. There is a use for bamboo, and it's generally not with hitting people. So anyways, that's my answer on that. But all kinds of things. Delrin, rattan, acrylic, all kinds of stuff. But usually you don't want stuff that can like shatter into a bunch of pieces. It's usually not a good idea. I tried electrical play once. Sadly, it didn't do anything. Yeah, it's just not my kink, really. I'm the same way. Electrical play, I've done it a couple times. I've done like tastings for violet wands, and using a violet wand I like better, but having it used on me, I just don't. It just doesn't. It's not even that I like. There's sometimes it does make me afraid, but I just don't like mentally. Just like don't process it as like a kink feeling. Like it just like it's sort of like. I don't know. I don't think about like using a blender as like being a kink activity. Like my brain just doesn't connect with like using a blender as a kinky thing. So even if it's done in a scene, my brain's like, oh, I'm just using a blender. And I feel like when I'm getting like using a TENS unit more so than a violet wand, but especially with a violet wand, I'm like, I just feel like my body's trying to warn me I shouldn't be engaging in this experience and that this is a dangerous stimulus, and that's all the information I'm getting out of it. Like, it just doesn't do anything. But other people love it, and it's like their favorite kink, and they love the way that it feels, and I'm like, more power to you. I'm not an electricity person. That is not my element. Oh, you just have a stream where, like, Bandita is sleeping? I mean, sure. I mean, you're kind of technically getting that already. This is technically 20% of the stream is Bandita sleeping. My local community used to run a pre-munch. Oh, yeah. Mine had one too, yeah. Anyone shy or new could meet up before the munch, have coffee, meet people, and play card games, etc., and attend the munch together. Yeah, when there was a really, really big munch where I used to live, when I used to go to munches more often, they had a pre-munch for that as well, because the big munch was like, could be like 80 plus people easily. And it was in a louder environment. It was a little bit harder to like actually meet people at a munch that way. And so they had like a quieter pre-munch ahead of time. I think that was really good for people. Yeah, Easton for pain relief means it'll never be a kink for me. Oh yeah, if you already have a like mental association, yeah, for sure. Da-da-dum. I like chocolate lava cake best, especially with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. I mean, hard to go wrong with that. Now I feel like I want to make like chocolate mousse after the stream. I actually do need to get groceries. I'm probably not going to get them tonight though. I'm probably going to get them on like, I don't know, Sunday maybe. I do need to get groceries, but when is a question. To be fair, would your neighbors know what a practice bottom is? I mean, probably not. But I mean, there's like a 2% chance they might know. Life hack: if you develop a dark sense of humor, you automatically become friends with a bunch of medical professionals. Yeah, if you just have a morose sense about you, they just meet them everywhere. Yeah, freestyling ties, I think, is a good way to do it. I think there is a place. Don't get me wrong. I love a traditional shibari suspension sequence. I love pattern ties as like the art form of like the mastery over it. I think all that is really valuable. But I think you have to have a very specific brain to be able to enjoy that. And I think that's not most people. I think a lot more people don't retain that kind of information, don't really get anything out of it, and so it's better off for them if they can enjoy rope as a free-form tool as opposed to like being told that there's like a way to do something. Neck strap is another way of saying a collar as an alternative. Yeah, it could be. That could be one way that you refer to that. Yeah, rope is not that hard. I gotcha. Just don't get tangled up in the fancy stuff. Running out of puns to string together. I gotcha. That was very... Good job. Good job. Despite being different species, Bandit behaves so similarly to Francesca. They are both Baskers. I think that's just like... She's just an old girl. That's just part of the deal. Yeah. I mean, she is kind of cat-shaped in the sense that she's very fluffy, like a long-haired cat. And she is kind of approximately the size of a cat. So they're more related than you might think. Oh, have a good night, Lexi. Talk to you later. Have fun. Have a good birthday. Good luck at the airport. Oh my goodness. So many things are happening. Question: have you ever used Icy Hot or something similar for play, or heard of someone doing so? Any thoughts on this is either a good or bad idea? My initial first gut reaction is probably avoid using it on the mucous membranes. So probably don't use it, labia, lips, etc. Don't use it there. Don't use it on the eyeballs. If it tells you on the packaging not to use it in a spot, don't use it there. It's a good rule of thumb. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone use it in a scene directly by itself. I have seen people use it and then use something over it for like sensation play or like caning and stuff maybe, or like a spanking. Like if your top is spanking you and they have like nitro gloves on, they like spank you over the Icy Hot, and that can make the spanking more intense. Same thing with caning, any kind of implement. But obviously, if you're using it, I wouldn't do this with like a leather toy, because then the leather might absorb the Icy Hot. But with like an acrylic cane or like a stainless steel, cane or something, or again a hand with a nitro glove, that you can use it for. Oh, we have some super chats from Sean. I built a needleplay kit, and my dom was so impressed with it, she asked me to build her one. Oh, that's a good sign. Besides the needles, it also has a sharps container, alcohol prep pads, nitro gloves, and the Britex skin spray for aftercare when the needles are removed. That's all. Good list. That's a good set of things. There's definitely... I don't know if there's any like good guide on the internet that's really succinct for like ingredients for building a needleplay kit, but those are definitely like pretty much all the basics that I would think of for just your bare bones needleplay experience. But there's certainly more you could add on too if you wanted to get more advanced with it. Yeah. So, but thanks for sharing. Yeah, it's there used to be a place you could buy like pre-made needleplay kits that had all the stuff you needed in it. Like they had and they also probably had like gauze and bandages and stuff in there as well, and like other sort of for the post needle care kind of oriented things. And I have not seen them at an event for like years. They used to go to Kink Fest every year. They used to go to other conventions pretty regularly, and now they just like don't exist. So I don't know if that like website is still around where you can like get a sharps kit and like have one that's pre-made. But actually building one, I think the main thing is getting a tray to put your stuff on is a good thing to have. What was the other thing I was thinking of? Oh, the actual box itself. Like having a good container to put the kit in. I think people like they get all the stuff and they're like, oh, where do I put this? So having a good thing to put it in, like a good literal tool bag. Yeah. Yeah, read the instructions. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Icy Hot. I think people, I use that more for like aftercare stuff, more so than the scene itself, but you can use it for that if you want to. Just be prepared for the fact that the sensation does not go away immediately, even if you like wipe it off. So, don't, you might think, oh, I want to do genitorture by putting Icy Hot on my genitals. And, it's really hard to undo that once you've started that process. So I've heard, I think other people recommended like, there's milk or like some other things that like, oh, actually, probably I could just Google this. That's not that how I spelled it all. Okay. Neutralizes Icy Hot. Vegetable oil, soap and water. Oh, yeah, because that makes sense, because you have to deal with some of the stuff that's water soluble, and then some of the ingredients are going to be oil soluble. So, yeah, you want to do, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. So, that's actually probably why milk works, because of the fat molecules, and, like, milk wouldn't be as good, but it would probably play a similar role. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so I guess you want to make sure you can have something where you can both do like an oil rinse and then a soap and water rinse, and then that probably won't get rid of it completely immediately, but it might help. So there you go. That's apparently what they say on the internet, according to some medical website. I actually don't know if there's like, if Icy Hot has like an official, like, here's how to undo the Icy Hot if it's too much for you thing. Oh, the expanding trays are really nice. That's good. I agree with the electricity thing. I have a big thing for non-metal items as well. I'm really into wood because it feels so primal. Additionally, would you do a video for vegans using non-leather? Oh, like like what non-leather options there are, like how to take care of vegan non-leather. I don't know if I'd have it as a standalone video, to be honest. If I was doing a video, it would probably just be on like general like materials that you can get stuff with. I'm not a fan of wood because of the sensation. Like it's too stingy for me in most cases, but I do like metal implements. I do like a good like a metal rod. Honestly, it's probably my favorite. You know, it'd be really fun actually. A metal rod wrapped in coconut rope. Why haven't I tried that yet? That's such an obvious combination of things. It's because one of my tops like touching coconut rope. Because they're all babies. That's why. But speaking of needles, I've never felt more tortured than during an allergy skin prick test. The pain, the itching, having to hold still. Obviously don't use for allergies. Yeah, probably don't use a skin prick. I mean, I don't know much about the world of medical play because it's not my thing, so maybe somebody has figured out a way to do a skin prick allergy test in like a medical role play setting. But, you know, you want to make sure you have an EpiPen on hand and then probably make sure the person doesn't actually have any allergies before you actually start doing the skin prick test. Someone I spoke with last year called it tunnel play. The first picture I had was the tunnel you have in the dog schools and you walk it all fours through that. Oh, that's funny. That's a good one. Tunnel play. We're always coming up with new stuff, aren't we? I think the Girl Scouts thing is about gendered age play. I think you're probably on the money with that one. Okay, I'm kind of like losing my voice a little bit. Oh, that's not good. This is am I actually like really, okay, I'm like testing my voice and I'm like actually losing my voice. Okay. I am like actually really losing my voice for real. So I'm going to give you all like 10 more minutes. And then I think probably I do need to film this weekend. So in order to preserve my voice for that, I am going to end the stream a little bit early. But I do want to give people an opportunity to re-ask questions if I didn't get to them. So please re-ask your question now. Or hold your peace until next week. Oh, what kind of rope do I like? I like... What's my favorite probably right now? My favorite rope is the jute rope. Is the Pseudo 2 from Pseudo Jute. It's a jute rope, and I like it because it has a really nice skin feel, and it's very light and fast, so it doesn't have like bad skin irritant stuff in it that a lot of standard jute rope has. So that's currently my favorite, just for like floor work, quick rope. If I want to like do something really fast, that's what I'll pull out. But I also understand that it has limitations. Like, you know, I'm not using it for uplines. I'm not using it for stuff that's like load bearing. You know, if I was going to use my jute rope kit for that, I would either do a suspension that's done in a way to where, like, if I fall out of the rope, I'm at a lower risk of like hitting my head or my neck. And if I was really going for it, I'd probably just use like, you know, non-jute uplines. I'd use like my Posh rope or something instead. Oh, thank you, Sean. Sean has gifted 10 more memberships to the stream. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You are fantastic. Thank you. And welcome to all the new members. If you are watching the live stream, you may have just become a member. And that means you get to use a very cute little emotes in the chat. They are great. They are so adorable. I will now show you a couple of examples if you have not seen them before. They are... I honestly just like them just for me. I just think they're cute. I did that for me. How to get into DDLG. I've learned about the community from afar, but I've never participated, and I don't know where to begin. I'm not sure where the best entry point is for like DDLG. There's definitely groups for it. You can look for events locally that might be either tailored to like Littles or the DDLG community, or sometimes like pet play nights. There'll be an overlap with Littles as well. There are definitely groups online for Littles. There's some subreddits for it. I'm sure there's Discord chats. There's FetLife groups, and I might start looking there. Right? I have haven't heard the best things about the DDLG subreddits, but I'm not active in them, so I can't really like tell you why. I think I've just seen people like encourage like non-consensual behavior, honestly, with like bratting and stuff, and that's not something that I generally support, so I try to avoid it. But otherwise, the best thing to do if you want to meet other DDLG people is to go to kink events, wear stuff that signals your interest in DDLG, like, you know, colorful stuff, or maybe stuff from like cartoons that you like, or like bringing a coloring book with you to a munch. Like, do something that signals an interest in DDLG around other people, and then you are probably going to run into other people that are like also littles. Also, probably, if you want to guarantee for meeting people who are into DDLG, this is definitely like a big thing, but people do this as like a first event, is a lot of the bigger BDSM conventions, like the Dark Odyssey conventions, Kink Fest, I think probably Test Fest as well, will have DDLG events at them. They'll have like a Little's Tea Party, they'll have a DDLG like coloring time or like a story time, there'll be like slumber party stuff, there'll be other kinds of meeting up for people. I've seen like Easter egg hunting, Halloween trick-or-treating events, like birthday party stuff. So that I think is actually, like, weirdly enough, maybe the most consistent way to meet DDLG people in real life and like a general kink setting is to go to one of those events and then look for the specialty group events that are happening at those bigger conventions. I do know that there are like at least like one or two like CGL age play conventions, and I cannot remember either of their names, and I know they exist. And if you really want to make sure you're going to be around other people, if you happen to live near one, if it's convenient for you to go to one, maybe check out one of those. Maybe go to one of those conventions, and then you'll definitely meet people. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get to a couple more questions here. I'm going to scroll down. If you went to a dungeon, could you and your partner be part of the kinks? And do you show up and get started or need some time slot selected? I'm not really sure it works. Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so some dungeons, you do need to like tell a DM and say, hey, we're going to use this piece of furniture for like X amount of time. And then you basically like get on like a reservation time slot. But it's like, it is generally like first come, first serve. That's less common. It's more common than just like, you see a piece of furniture free, you and the person you want to play with go up to it, you claim it, you put your bag down, you put a, you know, some kind of barrier over it, like a sheet or a blanket or something. And you generally are not like, it's not like a group participation thing. There are people who will do scenes where they explicitly say, you know, we want to have other people join in. This is like what we're comfortable with other people doing. Most of the time, it's just pre-negotiated one-on-one play and occasionally pre-negotiated closed-off group play. The other kind of participation that you're really doing is just like watching other people play. But you're not going to like, there's not going to be like a dom standing at a piece of furniture like a carnival ride and being like, come right up, come get a spanking. Or like a sub waiting and just like twiddling their thumbs until somebody comes up and gives them a spanking. Because then you wouldn't have the opportunity to like negotiate and consent the way that you would want to. The exception to that is there are parties that are, oh, I just blanked on the name. Taster events. That are taster events. And so you can go, and sometimes people also have house tops, even if it's not a taster event. And there'll be like house tops and house bottoms where like you go to them to like do a scene. And like that's how you like meet people to play with, is like, it may not be an event that's all about tasting where you do little individual mini scenes with different tops who do different types of activities. But you might have a house top that you can like negotiate with, like, you know, maybe they do floggings and whips and stuff like that, and then they can give you a little sampler that way. But yeah, it's generally, it's I think maybe more casual than people might expect it to be. But usually there is like a courtesy rule where like you're supposed to be on a piece of furniture for like an hour, maybe two at the most, and then like if it's gone longer than that and people are waiting, you're like supposed to wrap things up, and the DM might step in and be like, hey, you got like 5 more minutes, you know, wrap things up, folks. What's the etiquette for going to a dungeon if you don't have a partner? Just like talk to people like they're human beings. You can have casual conversation with folks about like, oh, you know, hey, I'm new here. Do you go to the dungeon regularly? Blah, blah, blah. You can talk about that kind of thing. Oftentimes, there's like a board, like a bulletin board where you can put like sticky notes or something on it to be like, hey, I'm looking for this kind of scene. I'm here. I'm wearing this. Here's my name. If you're curious, come say hi. Or, you know, DM me on FetLife or like whatever. If it's an event where you can have your phone out, some people leave like, you know, FetLife names or something that's like, you know, indirect contact. But usually it's going to be like, hey, my name's so-and-so. Find me by the fact I am, you know, wearing a knitted, you know, chicken hat or something, and then have a conversation with me. And so you can find play partners that way at the event itself, but most of the time if you're going single, unless you happen to start a conversation with somebody who happens to be like, hey, do you want to do a scene together? Most of the time you're just, you know, just going to be there socializing and not necessarily doing a scene. All right, I think that's going to be the last question. Thank you all so much for joining me on this beautiful day. It is a wonderful Friday afternoon. Thank you all so much again for your support during this live stream as well as on the more recent videos. It has been great to hear everyone's reaction, and I am definitely planning on doing a deeper, more formal dive into tradwifery, where I also will talk about Christian domestic discipline, because that definitely intersects with this whole conversation. And that's going to be that on that. All right, I'm going to see if Bandito wants to come say goodbye. Hi, sweetie pie. Do you want to come say goodbye to people? Or do you want to keep laying on the floor? I know it's hot, huh? It's a little warm. It's a little toasty. All right, she's going to stay there. She did wag her tail, though, so you know that she misses you all and wishes you well. Again, stay safe, have fun, drink your water, wear your sunscreen, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye. Oh, there we go. See, you want to say goodbye now? See, I have to actually say goodbye. And then she's like, she knows that magic word. Hi, my pretty girl. Come here. Come here, pretty girl. I know. We get a little belly rub. I know. And then we say goodbye. Get picked up, we say goodbye. Hi. Would you like to say goodbye to people? Would we like to say goodbye? Look at that, honey. Hi, girl. Yeah. My pretty lady. So good. Okay. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. Stay safe, have fun. Join us tomorrow, Saturday at 4 p.m. for the Patreon movie night. It's at 4 p.m., so it'll be night for the East Coast, but it's 4 p.m. for me. Hopefully I will see you there. Stay safe, have fun. I'll talk to you later.